Rayon Shebi Mansour, my guy.
Finally,
We made it happen.
I've been waiting for this moment, I think, since January. And I told you that after some significant events that we've been doing throughout the semester here at good old UMass Boston, uh, after all is said and done, we have to record that episode. And here we are.
I'm proud of us.
Proud of us.
And look at us. We're matching with the orange shades up in here. We're doing it. We're doing it.
I got this Nike golf shirt from a Ross just for this. Back when I was in Florida during COVID.
I'm honored. I'm honored that you put. Ooh.
Matching with that as well.
Ooh.
Supreme Nikes. I don't mean to put my phone in your face. I apologize, but I'm pointing it away. But
You're rocking it. You're rocking it.
got an orange vibe going down because Tommy said that he also got the orange glasses. So figured why not just go in an orange fit? Because I've never done this before, and I've been wanting to wear this. I was actually supposed to wear this shirt during Weekend Fest, but I think I forgot to do that. But managed to make it work for tonight.
And you're still vibing, you know? I always tell people, it's like I got the rankings and stuff. My favorite Lebanese human of all time
Let's go.
in the flesh.
I'm proud to be such.
Because one of the most important things, you know me, I'd be doing a bunch of shit. And I'm like, you know what? My guy, he's leaving for the summer. We got to make it happen before it happens. And you're one of the most prepared guests I've ever had in the whole chronicles of the Peterson Podium.
I appreciate it.
What is like, would you say, other than music, what would you say is some of your biggest like dreams and biggest passions that you have?
You know, I think we're getting genuinely deep into this because to me, I've never been a, let's say, specific person, meaning in one venture. So it's not just music or arts. It's especially from a young age, I just knew that whatever I was like to do, be it some sort of other niche or market or whatever, it was still to make a difference or an impact with, you know, a larger audience. Just specifically like a global audience, like just really get to influence people for the good, you know, make a difference in this world, you know, for the better of humanity. Of course, I mean, that's what, you know, TV always advertised to us, like, you know, to always aspire to do great things. But sometimes reality checks you in a way where, you know, you're kind of caught up, like, right in the present, in a very strange way. But people got to realize, like, you know, you got to look at that bigger, like, painting, like, you know, look at the bigger picture to really see, you know, where you go about with your life and just really aspire to great things. So it's not just music for me, but as far as just my presence on this earth, I've always wanted to just do great things to other people, make people happy, make a difference in their life in some way, shape, or form. And I hope, you know, as I get older, get wiser, get stronger, all that, I feel like I'm definitely reaching that goal. And even before I actually so-called reach it, I feel like I'm still doing it like now as we speak. You know what I mean?
I was talking to someone recently about silent supporters in a sense of you're making an impact with people. And if they kind of really aren't like, they're not sure how to go about being like, oh, you're making my life better. But they feel it. Like, you know how if you post a banger story, because we got the good story content,
Yes, we do.
if you have something really, really cool and it makes someone's day on a bad day and they don't swipe up because they're like, oh, I don't want to be seen as weird or something, but they feel it. Like you run into them in person and be like, I just want to say you made my day on that Tuesday that I was down in the dumps. I feel like me and you are some of those people that we make a great impact, a great influence on people, you know? For me personally, I've told people, I'm going to shock you. In like elementary school, I was one of the shyest people. Were you always such the great, energetic human being that I know to this day? Or did it change at some point? You know what I mean? Like, were you always this amazing energy that I always say?
You know, I'm gonna add on to that point that you just said. You know, about a friend like having that example of, you know, that story making your day or whatnot. Excuse me. This is why first impressions to whoever you meet are so important. I'm coming all the way from the other side of the world, from the Middle East, coming here to Boston, which is a city I've always wanted to come to, especially for studying, for education. I find that every single interaction that I've ever done, the first, not even minute, the microsecond, like you have to show off that character. Like it's supposed to fascinate them in such a way that they retain something so unique about you. It completely stands out, like from every single other person that they've met in their lives, right? And I guess in that like of itself stems from the fact that ever since like I was young, first of all, for me, I've never really felt in a way that like I guess shy or anxious. I don't really want to use the word ironic, but in a way of kind of thinking of it like the other way around. It's not that I'm so energetic because like I have to fill some sort of void or anything. No, it's the reason why I'm so energetic. I'm so positive. Like I got a smile on my face. I'm just so expressive. It's because why should there be a limit to my potential? You know what I mean? It's not
Hmm.
that I'm trying to do too much or try to like overly do things, but I don't really find myself like with me personally that there's a limit to what I want. I will do like whatever it is at the cost of making my mark so significant. It leaves a legacy to my name on this earth, and it sounds pretty crazy. Like it almost sounds like it was like some sort of warlord like kind of quote, but yeah, I guess since a really young age, just growing up in in like a traditional household, but always especially from my parents who I gotta represent my people and stuff. Always motivated me to reach for potential and greatness. Like do the like they always insisted from a very young age. It wasn't about going like trying to be a doctor or whatever. Not trying to skip around like topics and stuff, but the point is that they always, motivated me to just hustle and just make it big,
Hmm.
it objectively succeed. Be it, family, be it finances, whatever. It's that all in all is what it's so called, really makes it. I guess if you really try to make it,
Hmm.
success wise. But as far as always having that motivation, having these kind of core values, you know, really putting it in there they all kind of play out in a very interesting way that it all cohesively works. You know what I mean?
It's true. I'll never forget when in that UMB Artist Club Snapchat group chat that we're in, and Chris I think posted a video of you on the drums at the studio. Shout out Record Co.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, this guy, he brings it. He brings the oomph, and I love that. I was like, I gotta meet this guy. What's his name?
Hell yeah, bro.
And we made it happen. And you're a man of many talents. You know what I mean? Especially in the music field. You know, is there a certain like format to music that you value? Like, because I know you're good at the drums. We were talking to our boy Ennis earlier, right before the call about when you're on the mic and stuff. Like, what's the thing when you go into the studio that you look forward to the most, or is it all tied? Would you say?
I'll be honest. I I I guess the way that people learn, be it music or art, specifically being the drums or keyboards or in the context of a studio,
Hmm.
the way that I kind of really want to express myself, like there's just things that genuinely clicked for me, like when it came to drumming, when it came to DJing, all sorts of musical elements that it just connected with me where, within the tip of like, my fingers, I can really make things come into some sort of reality, like within like the time and like the context of time and space to really manipulate it in such a way that it's an insane like unique structure that it represents who I am, if that makes sense. Because I'll be honest, I'll there's I'm sure like there's so many people out there that you know try to like learn DJing or learn music, like learn I guess like the objective elements of it, like learning this and that. But yeah, I guess learning maybe the methodologies of it, or like the theory aspects of it might make you go some direction, but to really understand it and I guess apply it in such a way that you're I guess you're just not afraid. There is no standard. It's you. It's a completely human factor and element to really express what you feel, what your energy, your mood is.
Like your perspective and stuff.
100%. I just put it all out there with no, hesitation, no limits. And that's why, like, yeah, especially like when the club started, I just went all out with showing y'all like how I was like on the drums, how I was like doing this and that. Cause honestly, it all started like during COVID when I really locked myself in like, cause I mean back home, like you really could, where I live is in Qatar. During COVID, you really couldn't leave the house unless it was like for some like really like real emergency, be like I guess going to the supermarket or actually going to the hospital. So that's when I actually picked up on that kind of hobby and just finding some sort of like I guess my own way of expression. And that's why I was like being really, like key on not being too specific with what you do. It was just that it wasn't just about music or art or fashion or whatever. It was just everything playing out in like it just a structure that it all comes together. It all paints like this new medium of this form of expression, like that is just me. What I'm thinking about, what I want to lay out on the line. So in short, you know, as far as when I was showing you guys, I was just going all out with everything that I was doing, and yeah, like during that time, I spent like a good 7 to 8 hours just learning, like how to scratch, how to do beat, finger drumming, just how to do all that, and now when I just do like I guess these kind of functions, like these parties and whatever, it's just flawless. Like I can just do it like it's the back of my hand. It just doesn't really need any thinking process. You know what I mean? Does this all make sense?
Yeah, like shout out to the Beacon Fest after party. You cleared out the entire room and you had all your DJ gear. And I was thinking literally like you're doing it so effortlessly. You know what I mean? It's like it just shows how much passion you have for the craft. You know what I mean? And you're out there, and even if it's like with a big group of people or not a big group of people, because some people they'll see a big group of people and be like, "Oh no, I'm understandably nervous," but like you're bringing your A game all the time. And what's cool is that you have all different types of genres. You know what I mean? You're bringing like all different worlds blended into one, and I really, really like that. I think one of the coolest pieces of content that I see you bring on the social media world is your love for the records. You know what I mean? And that's what's cool how it's coming back to our generation, because people are very big on the iTunes or the Apple Music or the Spotify, but it's making a renaissance rebirth of records. Um, you want to give like a name drop of where some of the best places you like to go for to get your records, or because I've seen some fire pictures with you at the record store.
Dude, you know what? Before I even get into the record stores, like I'll here's what I'll do. I'll give you like a list of like the best ones I've ever been, like worldwide. But I guess before all of that, as far as me being in like this record head, like this guy that's so into vinyl records, where did all this come from? Um, and honestly, it's just it's just us boys, like it's just us guys, right? Like I don't really want to get to like this whole storytelling thing, like really painting like a deep picture.
Oh,
But
you could say whatever you want, my
yeah,
friend.
yeah, no, appreciate it. The only reason why that I just kind of want to give like this backstory of like what was this fascination of these physical mediums? Like, oh yeah, of course we have Spotify and all these things, but without like these pre-existing like mediums or like contexts, would things like AI exist today? Would these new like streaming services and all these things like on the like as far as the internet age like exist? Because for me, when it came to music, especially like physical mediums, having something that like it how would I word this?
It's kind of like having a physical book compared to like reading it off of your phone. It's better.
It's not even that. It's like this thing that just makes another like piece of existence come to life in real time.
Yeah.
That's what fascinated me about like like CDs, like compact discs and cassettes, like these physical things that just without actually using them, they're completely obsolete. But putting them through a player, it travels you through time.
And the audio is better too.
Dude, it represents someone's piece of work from like it carries their legacy on. And so one of the first things that really like fascinated me, and I will never forget it to this day, um back home, where I live in Qatar, because I guess if I haven't mentioned it to the audience, I'm originally from Lebanon. Like me, like for specifically like the eastern side of the world, like just because you live somewhere doesn't really make you from that country, if that makes sense. So I still represent myself as Lebanese, and I love that, and I'll die with that. But Qatar is also like my second home, so I love it so much. Like it's just a new melting pot, and like this new yin and yang kind of thing. So pretty much, it was like the early 2000s, I would say. We had this GMC Acadia. I think it was like a sedan or something. It was
Okay.
like a family car, and they still had the what's it called when cars had those cassette thing. What's it called, slots? We could just play them, and for some reason I don't know why. Like one of my first key memories of, I would say, Western music, like just English, right? Uh, was a cassette of, I believe, what's his name, Jimmy Buffett?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett. It says that song "Cheeseburgers and Paradise." Is that what it was? Is that
That
what it's
sounds
called?
so familiar.
Cheeseburger in Paradise. Like, I think it's a song from the '60s, but that was like the first thing because my pops used to live in Miami like during the '90s, and
Oh
because he
shit.
pretty much fled Lebanon like during the Civil War era, and he relocated like back in Miami, and that's honestly how like I became a U.S. citizen like through him because he got his citizenship and whatnot.
Okay.
So he grew up with kind of like that culture. Like so in a way, it completely reinvented him. And I guess like when he came back home, like maybe like he married my mother, and he got like all of us like my brothers, like all of us boys.
Hmm.
He had like those elements of I guess English or Western culture where like he pretty much learned it. Like he taught it through his boys, and here we are today. Because of that kind of influence, and that's just something that as far as being in like the context of music, it just fascinated me. Jimmy Buffett's like Cheeseburger in Paradise, and I guess that was just one of the first songs that it opened an ear for me, if that makes sense. And of course, having these influences of like that current time, like a generation, like the late 2000s, like the Y2K era of hip hop and pop and all that sorts of things, just added on to it, and it just made something fascinating. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah, that's like I'm very fascinated about like the origins of how people start to think of certain things. Like people always think about like, oh, they did this, but they never think about the reason of why they did or how it started to become that thought, whether positive or negative. So I like that background where you mentioned the family aspect of the certain genre and the type of car back in the day. So that was pretty cool.
I mean, it like I would have never really kind of, at least when I was young, like figure out like how all this would play together, like just being like in those moments, fascinated with all such things. Because, I mean, back home we had the what's it called as far as records or record shops. We had quite the number of Virgin Megastore shops back home with that interactive station with the what's it called, those CDs like on the wall where you can play them. Those are
Uh,
some like really cool moments where like you get to see like when Black Eyed Peas like dropped like their END or End album. Like that was like I remember I used to like dance to like those songs. I even did choreographs and like auditions and performances and won awards for that kind of thing. So
mhm.
those are definitely some great times, especially like because there was a lot of them in the Middle East. And they were quite successful. And they were they're a time capsule, I would say. Those are some pretty enjoyable moments. But as far as I mean, back to your question about record stores, I would say off the top of my head. Uh, let's just go with five. There's five record stores that I think it just did something to me where it's just left like just a positive memory, just a great experience, and it really spoke to me in a way that it influenced culture and people.
Mhm.
And I don't think I'm really gonna rank this order. I'm just gonna say the five off the top of my head.
Okay.
The first would be Chico Records. Shout out Baby Lebanon, shout out Chico, shout out Diran. That store is in Beirut, Lebanon. It is a time capsule of just old traditional, you know, music staples from previous labels that had existed during the golden age of the Middle East. A lot
Hmm.
of Arabic records, a lot of Western as well, like rock and jazz that were, I think, like pressed in Lebanon as well during the '60s and '70s. But that takes quite the dedication to find. Um, I think my second favorite record store was what was it called? Platypus Records in Amsterdam. Shout out
Ooh,
Platypus.
I like that name. I like
Dude,
that
it was
name.
fire. Shout out was it Raul and shoot I forgot there was two guys, but shout out to Platypus. Forgive me for what's it called the single boy. What are the names? But
Oh, in Amsterdam, right?
because I remember I went to Amsterdam like with my family one time like during high school, and this was like during my finals week. I remember, and we just went to Amsterdam. Like fuck it, just go. You know what I mean? Just family vacay, whatever. And it was pretty much during like specifically the day was April 20th. So we're April 20 and in the red lights district, like my parents actually like saw a physical representation of what hell would look like, if that makes sense. Because they're honestly my parents are traditionally they're very sweet and innocent, but like that place it is the actual depiction of all hell breaking loose. You know what I mean?
Oh, because it was like 420 at the number one place that.
Oh
Um,
yeah, dude, it's crazy the amount of just weed and just like everything that like you could possibly think of is just there.
so it was like people handling it the wrong way because, there's people that can handle it the right way, but I'm guessing they were like being super reckless type shit. You know what I mean?
No, but that's the thing, because in Amsterdam, as far as like I'm aware, like it's a part of their culture, but it's not really in a way like it destroys them. The way I see, because in the like location alone, like you have like these water canals and stuff, and like just like that kind of culture alone,
Mm.
they kind of it's like a cohesive part of like their daily life, but they just go about it. You know what I mean? It doesn't really destroy them or anything. Like it's not too concerning, but it's just an interesting way that it plays, compared to other like places worldwide. And
Hmm.
that what's it called? That specific record shop, because it was like I guess hip hop heavy, not necessarily in the music, but as far as the culture, having jazz and disco records and just a lot of places from around the world, and in a way it kind of like centered back into like the ethos of hip hop itself, which is something that I love. And because I interacted like with the guys there, like I was like, yo, can we check out like these records and stuff? And they were playing. We were just kind of like partying, having a great time, just listening to music. And I mean, I think it's just something that they do like pretty much every day during like normal business operations. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
something cool. And obviously those experiences I try to share with y'all. When we're at the studio sessions and whatever. The club meetings.
Yes, sir.
Those are some great moments. Say another record store would be the Music Research Library at Beacon Hill near the Commons. Shout out Baz and Zach, legends, legends. These dudes are what's it called? They're jazz musicians as well. They're
Okay.
part of a group called Zamova. Dude,
Okay.
they're as far as like their extent of knowledge in jazz, it's something like otherworldly. Like I love those guys. I love the store. Every time I don't even like. Sometimes I don't really just go there to even buy records. I just go to just chill with them, just listen. Maybe just leave with maybe one or two records at most. But I usually like I try saying that, but I leave with a shit ton of them to be honest.
Hmm.
But I guess that's just what it is, and just have fun with it, just create those memories, and just have a great experience with it. So yeah, that's definitely what it is. I mentioned I just three. Is there five? Uh, trying to think of the
I,
other two. If there's any other two, I'll just mention them throughout because I can't really think off the top of my head right now. But yeah,
have you ever been to the one in the North End? I don't even know what it's called.
Mid Taste. That's one of my other. Yes, honestly, I'm gonna add that to that list. That's one of my favorite other records. Was Cody, Cody and his wife. Those guys, legends, sweethearts. I love them so much.
Hmm.
That's another what's it called experience. Just like the music research library, I'll just go usually like over to theirs, and that I usually have a fun time as well. Like checking out some records. I guess I found a lot of like Boston-based records, like some folk stuff, maybe from Ireland or from Italy, but
Ooh,
an amazing place as well. I love it for sure. That's four right there.
because this is speaking of numbers. There's been a million of like amazing like outside of the U.S. places mentioned, and you've given me a hint in times past about places that you've gone in general throughout the world. Like, do you have any like cool travel stories? Because I feel like you live like the travel vibes that people would like on like social media. Like they see like, oh, I wish I could travel there, and you've been to some of those places. So, are there any cool stories you'd like to tell the viewers of like where you've been and like some cool stories that what happened there?
I've been to, I'm blessed to say I've been to quite a number of countries. Huh. Well, I've been, I guess, east and west, but as far as west, like I've been, in the American continent specifically, I've only been to the United States. I haven't really been to any other countries like in the American continents, right?
Okay.
I would say, off the top of my head, there are two countries that I think I had the most hectic experiences in my life.
Mm-hmm.
First was Sri Lanka, where I also went my family on vacation there, and there was just this river like you can just jet ski like straight for like a good I guess kilometer or two and just come back. But it's just nice because you just go one shot straight and just back. But it's cool because I guess in like it wasn't like the open kind of body of sea or ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So just having that straight path, it was a pretty cool route to like jet ski around. But the reason I mentioned that there because that specific day when we were doing jet skiing and waterboarding and honestly, from what I can remember, if I'm not mistaken, because those activities over there were cheap, like pennies. You know what I mean? Especially because like I guess it's part of the tourism sector or whatever. I remember that day, there was like these group of like lifeguards that were like just there like working and stuff. But two dudes specifically were playing around, and I think they were like play fighting, like how guys just usually just play fight wrestle whatever. Yeah, and it was pretty much on the boardwalk, and one of them just pretty much ended up under it and drowned and died within 40 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, and I remember because I was water skiing, And when I came back, I just hear my mom crying like, "Yo, oh, what's going on? Someone's drowning, someone's drowning."
Oh, so she saw it happen in real time.
Everyone saw it happen in real time, and like it was just so like it all happened so fast apparently because like people were just so like distracted or whatever that those guys like it wasn't even like on purpose, like it was by mistake. They're just messing around, but no one even noticed it, and they're like, "Oh, someone's missing!" Like they're just under the water, and they just couldn't even find them anymore. And
Oh my
then
gosh.
and it was so hectic because I was water skiing that time, right? And like as I'm like like I'm actually on the water, like the boat is just stopping, and like oh what's going on? Like someone's dying.
Okay.
And then during that time, all of a sudden, my stomach just starts kicking in this crazy way that I think it was like some sort of food poisoning from, was it some sort of fish or vegetables that I ate like the day before or like just a bit before that?
Okay.
And I just remember like, honestly, I just had to use the bathroom. Like nature was calling, and
That's what Ennis would say.
dude, it was during that time like like whilst I was like I just had to use that bathroom. They found the guy and they were pretty much just carrying a corpse to the
In the
ambulance.
bathroom?
Like I was in the bathroom and they just like the ambulance came and they all of a sudden they found the body and they were just carrying him like towards the ambulance, but like they were just carrying a corpse, and I just remember hearing screams in such a way like I was like that, like death sounds like insane, you know what I mean?
Shit. Yeah.
Like especially like in some place like that, like dude, it was a very interesting day, but it was so weird because like how things just happen so fast, how like I guess just life works. It was so weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what's interesting. It's like how different certain environments are in different countries. You know what I mean? And you would know more than other people I know because there's some people that I know that have been strictly just their own home country. Do you know what I mean? So there's nothing really they can go base off of. What would you say are the biggest cultural shifts from where we are now in Mass compared to maybe where you're going in the summer or your hometown or anything like? Because if I remember correctly, where you're gonna be in the summer, you can't like they don't drink over there, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much it's the Middle East, like, just doesn't really drink. You know what I mean?
That'd be good for me. Thomas will chill with this water. I'm like giving like a free advertising to Poland Spring. Um, but like you know World of T-shirts on TikTok?
Yes.
Yes, we he was here recently, I think, for St. Patrick's
I
Day.
think he tried going to Dubai.
Yes, and everyone was like, "Yep, this is the end," because this guy's addicted to alcohol, and he goes over there to the one place that you can't have alcohol.
Yeah. I mean, usually when it just comes to like, I guess, like, what's the word? Like this troublesome actions or like this like mischievous kind of things. Because the Middle East, like technically, like each of the countries are pretty small, so it's more like like it's more easy like work to get around, like have things more controlled if that makes sense, like proximity wise. So maybe that's why usually like these kind of things like they can happen pretty quick as compared to like I guess the United States, just like a big body of a country. It's I guess it's a bit harder. Um, I actually just remembered, right? As far as when what's it called when I was mentioning about like some of my crazy stories, this just popped up to mind. The other country was Egypt. I don't know if you've ever heard, but man, the tourism in Egypt is it's a headache, man. Because honestly, I found this out like not too long ago. Like actually maybe when I was younger. That like my mother's originally Egyptian, so I guess I got some Egyptian in me. I don't know about that, but man, especially in the pyramids, like they'll try to sell you the sand, like and try to make you pay for that, because they're some sketchy people, and I love shout out the Egyptians, but specifically like if you know what I'm talking about as far as the people that kind of work in these kind of areas,
So there's some people that would try to scam you. Some people will try.
dude, they like I don't even know what it is. Like they'll just try to sell you anything and everything, and like make you seem as if like there's a price they have to pay for like your very existence or
So,
something.
so kind of like an effect of like maybe there's someone who's brand new to UMass and they really loved the event that me, you, and all the other legends in our club did the Beacon Fest, and they were like, "Well, for exclusive time, you get a blend of grass from live where the lawn was for $4. So kind of like that, where it's like you can get the sand from the pyramids for however much. So it's kind of like that, right? They'll be like, just sell you anything type shit.
I'll tell you this. Me coming to the United States, right? I mean, I guess like the internet just kind of like makes you know like a lot about so many places,
Hmm.
but definitely coming here, I would say like I kind of had like this preconceived idea of like what to expect as far as like the people here, the area, etc. But I don't know, things here specifically work in a very interesting way, and
Hmm.
I guess from when I was when I was young, right, especially up to now, there was always that kind of example to refer to for as far as life here in America, where you try to mimic it, especially like from what you see in media, like be it TV shows or movies, with just so many things that you see, the way people walk, talk, dress, think, all of that. I mean, I'm an embodiment of that product, of that influence. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that's honestly the sole reason why I'm here. But in a way, it still clicked with me. The like to just come here, and I've always wanted to come to the United States to study here, right?
Hmm.
But there's this analogy, right, that I've been using, and I kind of came up with it pretty recently. Okay, if you specifically, well, definitely not here in the United States. I would say more like, in areas of like, let's say Europe, definitely the Middle East, North Africa, etc. Like the Eastern world. If you were a kid, say born in the 2000s, from 2000 up to 2006, I don't know. And definitely, we are all subject to consuming American television, media, movies, all that sorts of things.
A
Specifically,
lot more than other generations.
big time. Specifically, that kind of generation, I call them High School Musical kids. I myself
Yes.
am a High School Musical kid. Why is that? The exact way that you kind of depict a young American life, like just as I mentioned, the way you walk, talk, specifically the way that you speak. Like right now, this like my style of English, like it's on a border of like for the way that my parents talk to me in English at home, the way I
Hmm.
used to hear my teachers, because I used to have like British, New Zealanders, Australians, Americans, all that.
Always your teachers.
Yeah, it's a blend of like six different like accents or dialects into this one thing,
Hmm.
and I guess with something like High School Musical, a movie that
All in this
together,
together.
yeah, it is a symbol of your childhood if you're born during that era, and I would know because I have a whole bunch of DVRs stored like back in my parent like in my house, right? And yeah, there was just something about that. Maybe was it like Disney and all these kind of movies where it probably just clicked with everyone like how to speak English. It was just such a powerful force that this is like where the world is gonna go as far as communication, as far as just interacting with one another, like
Hmm.
how we all I guess behave, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how everything plays out together. You know what I mean? At
Yeah.
least for me. What would you have to say for this kind of thing? What was your experience like?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like obviously we'll watch those things at a young age. And obviously when we're younger, we have nothing really to go off of because we're starting like everyone else is at that age. So it's interesting, like the stuff that you consume, especially at that age, kind of morphs into who you are, sort of. And especially how much advertising and stuff there is in the United States compared to other places. It's interesting. It's like that's why it's so important now that there's more influencers more than ever to make sure that it's a positive sense of things because a lot of people are watching, especially young kids, and the sad thing is though I've noticed that like negativity gets more clicks and stuff, so that's where it's the risky thing. It's the risky thing. You see the fights get more views, you see the arguments, the rants get more views, and that's unfortunately how it is. But I know with content, me and you are really good at the content world. You're the fucking TikTok master. You really are. You really are. And it really makes me happy because there's so many people that I'm trying to put onto the app. Like I was trying to get our guy Chris on. He's like, I got reels, bro. I got Reels, YouTube, it's good enough, and I'm like, trust me, it's different on TikTok. It's different.
Everyone and their mother is on TikTok.
Exactly. I'm trying to get my other friend named Ryan on TikTok. He's like, nah, I'm good. They always mention Reels, but it's different on TikTok.
It's a completely different economy, dude.
Yeah.
Big time.
It's content on crack because they know exactly what you want. And I know that algorithm this, algorithm that, but there's certain pieces of form of video that you'll get on TikTok that you won't get anywhere. And I'll never forget when you, Ennis, Chris, Dora, went to go see the Minecraft movie, and your content is so legendary that you knew when stuff was happening before it happened. You know what I mean? That's fucking awesome.
Oh,
And you knew, I remember we talked about it on the UMB podcast. We both know about the Italian brain rot. And that's what's cool. I see me and you as legends that like, we're not like, obviously we're not in like the middle school trends, but we're hip enough to know what the youth is listening to. You know what I mean? We're hip to it. And that's what's awesome because there's some people as they get older, understandably, like teachers and stuff, that were like, some of them, they're like, oh, I don't get this slang, but we're hip. We know what they be vibing to, bro. We fucking know. And that's what's cool. And we have a lot of great interests. We learn a lot of cool stuff. All this interests that me and you have are all cool interests. They're all positive interests. What would you say are some of the best trends that you've gotten from that beautiful app, if you can remember off the top of
dude.
your head?
I mean, I man, I think I've been using my phone for way too long, like all these years. Like, there's just too much from Vine to Instagram to this to that.
Yes, with the Vine. Let's go with the
Dude,
Vine. Yes.
I don't know. I'm just too much on the internet. I just like in a way, I guess I just should like maybe I was on one particular side of the internet, if that makes sense. As far as memes, like uh, I guess every single meme that probably exists or every single trend, was just something like to experience in that moment. You know what I mean?
Do you
I'm
remember?
just gonna say all of them, but all of them,
Do,
honestly.
do you remember Sadid? Remember Sadid?
Oh,
I saw him at a comedy show, Laugh Boston. Nick Coletti. Sadid, Sadid.
dude. Here's the thing. From the way that I consume internet, like the internet, right? It was completely different. Like I guess for what like as far as the hip or the trend parts, kind of what I saw first, especially like going up to school before everyone, like just referencing it in some way, shape, or form. Cause, and I didn't know this now until like before then until now, where the way I guess the way that I consume content also influenced that me to kind of start it, if that makes sense. Because everyone would of course like want to like say, oh, I'm gonna start this. Like you started a podcast. Shout out to you. You're out here continuing it. So kudos to you, my man.
Thank you.
You're actually being consistent with it. That's what's up. And there's just a lot of people that really don't do that, especially for so like a place like back home, right? A lot of kids, I guess, yeah, they're influenced by the internet, but for me, it clicked in a way that, you know, you're actually tuning into someone else's reality, if that makes sense. Like their way of thinking, just their character and all that. The reason why I say this, right? It just clicked with me in some way that there is some style that I could do it as far as me to influence other people, which is why specifically on TikTok, I happen to come across a lot like a lot of like the fashion content, like specifically the hype beast era, and in that way, during COVID, and this was right also like everything's coming together honestly like that, like when I was also like learning how to DJ and stuff, like I just started getting into DJing like and music overall consistently. I was reselling sneakers, and I used to make TikToks as well, like selling these kind of sneakers and
Are
stuff.
they still up the videos?
Oh fuck yeah! I even have
Yes.
I don't shy or hide away from nothing, and
Good.
that's the thing, dude. When I
Good.
was young, dude, I on everything, and like my listen, my parents didn't even know about this. Like they're watching this right now. I swear, I put like my all of my assets, everything. I put my life on this shit, bro. Like I'm not even like lying about this whatsoever. Back in specifically middle school, bro. Teachers used to come up to me like, "What are you watching? What are you wearing? What are you doing this, doing that?" I had this mentality that I was the fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like
I hope you still do. Do you?
fuck, bro. Within my existence up to this point, I'm a fucking shit every single minute of the day, even in my sleep.
Good. That's a
You know what I'm
great.
saying?
I like
It's
that.
healthy. Listen, it's not even cocky. It's not even like braggadocious. I guess it's not you're trying to be baggy, but it's healthy to think of yourself in a positive light
It's
and say
self
that
love.
yeah,
Self
like
love.
that's what's up. Yeah, yeah, bro. Fuck yeah, fucking a. Like, dude, I used to just rock up like with these new Jordans or Nikes or whatever it was. Like, yo,
Yeah,
check this out, check that
with
out.
the Nikes. Let's see yours. Let's see
Yeah,
yours
dude.
again. Let's see yours again. Come on. For the
Look
thumbnail.
at
Ready?
it.
We'll put it
Yeah,
together like this.
Nikes on my feet keep my cipher complete.
I love that. Love that.
R.I.P. Mac Miller, but yeah.
My twin. My
Dude,
twin.
it was just all hip hop. It was all memes. It was all music. It was just pop culture all in one. Which I referenced, but in a way, I was maybe during that time I was really trying to like find my community, whatever it is. And obviously I have my homies from back home who I love to death, and in their own way they're all unique, right? But for me, it kind of also made me stand out in a way. The thing is, it never really felt, you know, from what people might say like.
Yeah, it's weird. Like once you were talking about the teachers, it's like the teachers that were asking you that stuff. They used their powers and made the first thing that's ever happened in all these episodes. The laptop dies, but you know what didn't die? Our passion for greatness. Cause
Fuck
we're
yeah.
back, brother.
Dude,
What did those teachers say to you when you were having that
dude,
great
that's the thing.
conference?
Look, in short, right? I was fascinated by pop culture, kind of, and by pop culture, of course, like not just like I guess my regional kind of stuff, but
I
as
actually had a
in
pop culture class in BSU. What a small world.
really,
Yeah.
this is well, wait, what'd you learn in that?
It was a visual life of pop culture, so basically like the hidden meanings behind it type shit.
No
But
way.
go on, my good
Dude,
sir.
like that's what I'm saying. Because for me, aside from like just the regional things, like I guess staples, like you might maybe things they've grown up with, and it's like that sentimental kind of thing, like that nostalgia. Oh, do you remember when this like was this thing during that age or whatever? But as far as I'd say, like kind of putting on a focus of Western culture, right? Like one of my biggest influences is this movie chain called Step Up. If you know. Do you remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
Step Up, the dance movie,
Yes,
where
sir.
like they make it through dance and all that stuff. But man, that was some sauce, bro. Fuck, what's his name? Moose and Andy and what's Channing Tatum's character's name?
I'm in a brain fart, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
we're
but
going back in time.
dude, I just fucking love those movies because I used to watch them and yeah. Well, here's the thing. Actually, I should also mention this because, I mean, well, for someone that lived in the Middle East, how the fuck do I know so much about American culture? Because that was like maybe people really don't know much about it here, but that's literally what we grew up on. As far as that generation, like we had something called a TV, which is a worldwide fucking known thing, and we had satellites, so we were blessed to really consume Western content, movies, all sorts of things. Like one of my favorite kinds of movies specifically are black actor movies, as in Martin Lawrence, Cedric the Entertainer. One of
Yes.
my favorite movies of all time is Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. I fucking love that movie. I can watch it any time of the day. Like those kind of like just those like home kind of movies. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess like my pops used to also watch like Fresh Prince of Bel Air, like all those things, especially like
Banger.
they just transverse like into like the newer generation. Like it just kind of it just catches on to you. It's a nice feeling, you know what I'm saying? But that's the thing, because in that way, it really played out into my character, right? So as far as when it came to fashion, be it sneakers and clothes and all that kind of thing, it was always just something I was so fascinated in, and I really tried. And I guess now that I even remember it, hip hop was always my way out. I guess it wasn't really an escape, but it was more so of a way of engaging, socializing. Like I remember I moved schools, and hip hop was the only thing that kind of just made me cool because like I was the only guy straight up could fucking rap and like just cipher and just use my words the way I am right now, just expressing myself like so off the top of my head and just really passionate. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I'm having any brain blocks or anything. It's just flowing and flowing. Like I feel engaged. It's just what I'm doing right now. There's nothing stopping me. I'm just in constant motion. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
That's what it was. And I remember like I swear to God, it was middle school when I moved there. They saw me as like the first person. Yeah, I was that shy guy because it was something completely new to me, like a new school, like it's a whole new environment. But this guy that can write raps and like try to do it like in fucking math or history or English, whatever. It's like who is this guy? Like he's so fucking cool. And I mean, I am. I'm not gonna lie.
I like that you
But
have that confidence.
it takes one to know one. You know what I mean? Because you're a cool guy.
Ooh, I
Listen,
like
top
that,
tier
bro.
Tommy.
I like that,
Listen,
bro.
I just have to say, I deliberately did this when I first moved here to Massachusetts.
Hmm.
I just had to befriend every single resident here. Like the ones that grew up here, like American life.
Hmm.
Those are the ones like I just have a like a knack for. So I wanted to get to know you the first time, the first minute I saw you.
Thank you.
You, Chris, Alex, like every single person. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's just what it is, and you know, it's not just about the music club, but y'all, it just kicked in with us, and that's the thing because as far as like the dynamic of school and college, right? Me being that guy that you know was into fashion, teachers saw him like, what is this? He's into music, he's into this and that. Yeah, it like I, for other kids, as I mentioned, like I fucking love all of them to death or whatever. People grow up with me like from a young age. I'll like just objectively, I fucking love you, whatever. But you know, they kind of looked at me like, oh, like it's like I guess what was it? Well, why don't you just like live a regular school life? Why don't you just do what a normal teenager would do, whatever? But it wasn't that. I guess this in the way I saw it, it was what a normal teenager would do just crazy shit, figure out new experiences. And it's vital from such a young age to really like just communicate it in a way where you have full conviction, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
To really like sell yourself, especially when it comes to like the public workforce, like getting jobs and that sort of thing. Because I worked for a while at J Crew, and if it wasn't for my venture into fashion, my own thing like reselling sneakers and all that shit, like I wouldn't really have had that job opportunity. I like really sold myself in such a way that I for 100% of a fact made me stand the fuck out from every other single applicant. It probably in the history of like fucking jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just what I like. What I do, like fuck. Like, I mean, they all, it wasn't like I was supposed to live a normal like life, but this is my normal. And here's the thing, as far as like I guess from what we kind of see, in this current market of there being influencers, there being this and that. What I really don't want to see is much of not oversaturation, but just a like just a fucking blast of quantity without any significance, without any meaning or purpose, if that makes sense. So the way that I see it for especially people back home, the younger generation who probably just like me, maybe going through like a different context but similar kind of experiences that I went through, be creative, put it into like some sort of contributive output, be significant, like be unique, be have some sort of value, put it into a purpose where you can really impact how other people, like see you, how they see themselves, how they might behave.
Hmm.
It all plays out into importance of your actual work. Your existence is like your life. Okay, maybe this is too philosophical, but
Hey,
putting
you
your
do
life.
you. You do you.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting your life, I guess, on your resume, or your life itself is a resume.
It's
Is
also
pretty
like a
important. You
video
know what I
game,
mean? It's a document of everything that you do. That's why you actually have to live your life to the fullest. I remember I hit a point, especially freshman year, where I was questioning a lot of things like is fashion, is music really worth going into just having fun with it? But then again, like time is so short.
That's
Why
true.
not just do anything and everything? And depending on the reality that you exist in, just make the most of it as much as you can. And as far as me, because I'm blessed like to be here right now, right this second.
Hmm.
I'm just making the most that I can, and hopefully within my capabilities, and help others for the greater good.
That's true. And I always tell people it's like you never know when someone's last time it is. So try to not burn your bridges with people. Try to live every moment, like you said, to the fullest, because a little goes a long way. Do you know what I mean? It's like what we were talking about earlier about the silent supporters. You never know
Mm,
what life you can touch.
yeah,
And it was it's full circle because in the beginning you were talking about the impact with people, and I think like just how much you influence someone and knowing the change that you make in someone's life is essential. And that's what's like the most important thing about life. It's like touching people's lives because it goes another full circle with that, where it's like me and you can touch someone's life and then they'll learn from us and then they'll probably, excuse me, help someone down the line with their life too. And that's what's like super beautiful. It's like the topics that we've talked about so far. We've talked about music, fashion, record store, TikTok, and we all blended away in a amazing full
yeah,
circle positive format. You know what I mean? Because I've noticed this that Thomas Peterson can be a perfectionist. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And but in good avenues. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So what are your thoughts you would say on that type of stuff of that? Because all the positive stuff that you see with me, obviously genuine, obviously true, and I just try to uh, do everything that I can to touch as many lives as possible, and I mean that in a normal way, not in a weird way. Okay, so, but would you say how are you like? How do you handle that stuff? With, like, if you are a perfectionist, would you say
It
you are?
it took me a lot to learn about myself from I guess the time of school. I was a bit of a I get I guess grades wise, I thought I was too objective and too, specific. Like there wasn't really any flavor to what I used to do as far as schoolwork. And coming to college, every when it comes to things like essays and every sort of output that I do, it's so identifying to me. And the reason why, like, I'm trying to, as far as answering your question, in terms of perfectionism, one of my highest influences for someone in this generation, right? Because maybe our parents, they had people that they used to look up to, celebrities, be it, your Sylvester Stallones, or your Michael Jacksons, your Princes, your, Rick James, Jean Claude Van Damme, like all these actions, superstars, right? That were just, peak human form, right?
Hmm.
For me, it is the late and great Virgil Abloh. The reason why I say this is because he had a philosophy, and I'd say roughly around last year, like I kind of rewatched some of his old like archives and everything.
Oh, you were saying this
Where
at your place. I remember. I don't want to give it away,
yes,
but yeah.
fuck yeah, dude. His philosophy on, like, in a way, being perfect is ironically the most imperfect thing that you can do. It's all about like this yin and yang structure. Like it's also black and white isn't a good or bad, but putting together it's a whole new structure. It's a whole new idea that you can make. Things like just coming together. You can like what is considered imperfect is probably the most perfect way that it is embracing how you look, how you feel, how you speak, how you may be. Because I thought that there was a standard that was that's supposed to be held among in a previous life, like the circle of mind, like how to look, how to talk, or whatever. But who the fuck is X, Y, or Z or Z person, to say, well, what is what or who is who? Like
Hmm.
I'm here, I'm doing my shit, and I kind of hit that kind of potential, especially like towards high school. You know what I mean? That's when I really started trusting in myself, and it is important, to be at peace with yourself, to really trust your intuition, to really express yourself, be vocal, like, you know, with all that loud noise that may be in here and outside that the other people don't really get to hear. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Or listen to. You really need to tap into your inner, like, your inner ear first, yourself. Really calm things down, listen to what you're why you think the way that you do, what kind of conclusions are you reaching. But most important, just be at ease with yourself, like relax and just flow through things. That's kind of the reason why, as far as me saying Virgil Abloh is one of my favorite, is one of my inspirations of all time, right? His last exhibition, which was called Figures of Speech, which was pretty much like his collection of all his works, like throughout his lifetime, right? The last location that he ever did it in was in Qatar. And 3 weeks after his grand opening, he passed away, right? And I remember that thing was there for a good couple of months. And I remember I would pay visits to that every single fucking day, like as much as I could. And
Was that
especially,
when you visited and you saw the Yeezus cover?
dude, I saw everything, all his works, Yeezus, Pyrex Vision, all of it. And shout out to my fucking homies back home. Ziad, you're my fucking heart, like to death. I fucking love you. You're my boy. So he's one of my creative partners since middle school, right? And it just did something, to really, first of all, a kid from the Middle East to be recognized all the way from some person from the other side of the world to come and say, to really identify that region or that area alone has so much potential and culture and identity.
Uh-huh.
It represented something in me that I had to kind of pay it forward and pioneer it in a strategy that now that I'm speaking it into words, I have to live up to it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's not just even him, but years back, Kanye West also came to my school. How many people can say that in their existence?
Wait, what?
Dude,
You met him?
I wish to God I did. during the Yeezus era, right? It was 20, look, 20, I would say between 2012 and 2014 was, or sorry, 2012 to 16 was such an interesting part in my life, right? As far as so much that just happened around the world, so many stories that you hear.
Hmm.
It was also during that time where, first of all, let me just say, I think my two favorite albums of all time, like you, like it just did something to me, like you can't take it out of me. I try mimic it in such a way, and I think so many other of my other influences as well try mimicking it. In simple, they are Jesus and The Life of Pablo.
I knew you were gonna say Life Pablo.
Holy fuck, dude! Those albums, till the death of me, like
No
I
more
just can't stop.
parties in LA.
I just
Please,
love
baby.
every single track from one to the end, right? And dude, I genuinely used to do essays like my high school essay, like my final kind of report was on Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly." I even do like hip hop essays up till now. I just it's in me, right?
Hmm.
And that's the thing, like what's it called? The reason I'm saying about like it's not just Virgil Abloh as well, that, like as an influence, but Kanye West as well, right?
Hmm.
He pretty much during the Yeezus era, when he was I think going around the world, and he was also recording it in Paris, France. That's also when he had like this film that he did for the Cannes Film Festival, and he recorded it in my school, on my campus,
Wow.
back home, 2013. And there's a picture that you can find online with him, Kid Cudi, uh, I believe Two Chains as well, and Big Sean. And what were all four of those specifically doing? Well, no, excuse me, three, like excluding Kid Cudi. They recorded the Lamborghini Mercy video back home
Oh
in an
my.
underground parking lot at my school. And I must have been 8 years old at that time, and I might have just discovered 808s and Heartbreak. I might have just discovered Graduation, Yeezus, like just you know discovering more and more music, getting into it, finding my flavor. But who would have known that that kind of super secret project would go underway? You know what I
Oh
mean?
my gosh. What a small world,
And
bro.
it in such a way, like the thing is, like who knows if this video may reach out to them, but to for me to say right now that that may put something in my heart and in my soul, that I just had to do something with it
Hmm.
today. Like if it wasn't for those existing events, I don't know what I would be doing today. But that's the reason why you have to live every day to the fucking max. You
That's
have to do
right.
everything full power, full action. Make a contribution. Do change someone's life. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Make some sort of positive outcome for somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like the things where it's like you never know what someone else is going through too. It's like you making even like the smallest bit of gesture could really help someone, really assist someone. You know what I mean? So our goal is to bring the positive light instead of like, instead of being like a teacher walking through like, oh, what are you watching?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
me and
It's
you,
not
we're like,
right.
we're like, yeah, let's go, like uplift because the energy is contagious, bro. It's
Yes.
contagious in a good way, and you're just out there. We're doing our thing because a perfect segue, Beacon Fest people, and not only people in real life, but people on the videos, they got to see us in true form.
Hell
We're
yeah.
out and about, we're doing our thing. You're emceeing. I'm taking my shirt off in Chris's thing. As a matter of fact, it's still kind of there a little bit. Still kind of
Yo.
there a little bit.
That's crazy.
We were doing our thing, you know what I mean? And the hype for the fest, well deserved. It was a whole amazing rollout for it.
Yeah, it was.
How would you describe the experience, would you say?
You know, this week had so much, right? And there's more to not just Beacon Fest, but the reason why I had to go all out, right? It was my first kind of MC. Like, I guess that kind of event alone, it just adds on to my resume of life.
Mm-hmm.
A guy who groups 500 people in real life time to his voice, getting them to all just party, have the greatest time of their life, have the greatest summer ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most blessing experience. And here's the thing, I I think from a young age, because of what you may see from people who are scared or have stage fright or are anxious in a public setting, don't, seriously don't. Whatever it is, just block the noise like as much as you can, as hard as you can. Dump it in the fucking trash immediately. And I'm getting so passionate when I say this because for me, I had no barrier to who can listen to my sound. I always just wanted to get on that mic, express myself however I can, no matter what context.
Just
I
let it
had
out
that
to as
voice.
many human beings as
I
you
had,
can.
dude, from a young age. And yeah, dude, I can do things like sing. I can do things like play, like I guess drums. I can play a couple of instruments, right? But for me, I always just wanted my voice to be heard. I was never scared of who would listen to me. What would people think of me? Like those are just those are genuine sounds that are doubts. Those are like those are the devils in the detail. Those are actual devils that, dude, you just gotta throw that out and just
Yeah, not
you
letting
know
other people's opinions dictate.
not even your own doubts. No, no. First of all, not never doubt yourself, and never let for whatever reason anyone else, because the way that especially when I started really putting things into output as far as performances, right? You would actually be surprised how much there really isn't that many haters as your mind would make it seem, whereas maybe the media would make it seem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so much positivity in real life time that people will actually pay respect. They will respect what you do.
Hmm.
That all along, you kind of conclude that it was just your own voices that said that, oh, what if this, what if that, and maybe it's just human nature, right? To really consider things, make things work smooth and whatnot, but
Hmm.
you just have to know that, and that's why you have to keep doing things. You have to keep going through experiences to make yourself more assured and aware
Because the
that
practice makes perfect.
exactly that there's really not much to worry about and all rolls smooth.
Yeah, it's like I've seen a thing where it's like never entertain a negative thought because if you do,
Can't. You cannot.
it can potentially like snowball. You know what
Big
I mean?
time. You cannot.
And most of anxiety is fake. You know what I mean? Like
Can't.
it's just fake things that most of the time won't even happen in the first place. You know what I mean?
And let me just add on to this, because as far as anxiety, right? Especially, I remember it was my freshman year where I was like, dude, is music even worth it? Like, what's my contribution? Why have I entertained this all along? Why go through production? There's so much people out there that do it, better than me. But you kind of have to, first of all, I guess, never put too much pressure on yourself. I guess you really can't reinvent the wheel. What you can do is you have to first of all accept your situations that you're in.
And
And
potentially add to the wheel. You know what I mean?
dude, you what you have to do is you need to like really tap in. That's why, like, all these stories that I'm telling you, it's not like I'm not supposed to spice up or flavor anything, like, kind of like add on to the wheel, maybe make it gold or whatever. But that's the thing, right? Like,
Hmm.
what you already have, just just say it. All these stories that I have, they're actual, realities that I experience, and maybe they're not the best kinds, but in a way, they kind of make it beautiful to really say how life works and what a life you've lived. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's why with Beacon Fest, that's how it all comes. For it was, I wanted every single person, especially for a school like UMass, every single person to turn up, regardless of who you are, whatever it is, whatever maybe anxieties they might have had, especially at the pressures of a college student. Nothing, just come, have a great time, put all the doubts and all stresses aside. And it's not just in that moment, because if you can do it in that moment, it also represents how you can do it for the rest of your life.
That's
Go
true.
go with go with the ease of things, with everything that you do, right? That's why, as far as like what I want to do with my life when it comes to, I guess, everything that I'm always interested in, just make it into this one output of just bam right there. I just go with it, ease. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's it.
Because
That's all I do.
that's what's amazing. It's like before, during, and after the show, me and you and others were bringing it.
We
You
had an
know,
amazing time.
and I remember the interview that we had, and someone came over. They're like, "Oh, I can hear the vibes from back there." It's like, and you had the cadence down pat. You had the words, just said the right words. You were like, if you want to have a good time, you know where to go. Basically, you know what I mean. Beacon Fest is where it's at. You know what I mean? And it's like what I was saying earlier about how you bring a bunch of different genres to the table, and you said it perfectly. It's like it doesn't matter what you're going through, who you are. Like I want you to turn up and enjoy it.
Fuck yeah. And the thing is, like, I'm not even like an MC, like, I guess it's my first actual experience, but it's just things, that I've consumed, especially like me as a Lebanese person, right? Like, we fucking love to party, right? And
There's a lot of experiences, from summer camps where we used to have like these daily choreographs and daily performances. Like imagine it was Beacon Fest every single day as like a what's it called, like a dismissal session. You know what I mean?
That's fire.
Before you can leave camp, right? It's like what the fuck, and it that's the thing. The show always goes on. The show never stops. The show must go on. Your life is a show itself. Your life is a fucking movie. And listen, to whoever's watching this, your life is a movie. Your and I'm sending this message out to people who really give a shit about themselves and have awakened into this reality where they really, really want to take control of their life. Obviously, if you're considering people who really can't do much because of maybe other worldly problems, but as far as those I'm sure like they have like the most potential out there in the world maybe than most of us, right? But there's a contingent of people who may have everything, they don't do jack shit with it. This is
They get
this is
too comfortable.
dude, this is my message to the people who really want to change, like who really want to take control of what they do as far as creativity, like someone like me, you know. And it's not to like dismiss things like school, education. It's to put everything and just go all out, all with every single aspect of your life. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So you do. That's what you gotta
Because
do, bro.
what a
That-
coincidence, because on the side of these it says Sedlak,
yeah.
and it's a TikToker, because we were talking about content creators
Yeah.
earlier with TikTok and stuff. And one of his things is our thoughts create our reality. You know what I mean? So if you think a certain way, the perspective that you have, it could shape your reality because the momentum from
Mhm.
those thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. It's like what you said of like going all out because looks like the water has fucking glasses. But yeah, it's like thinking like that, and it branches out, and I like that. We're bringing the fire. We're bringing the fire. And Beacon Fest was absolutely amazing from start to finish. And you're one of the reasons that I can thank for that. I guess you could say that the Beacon Fest was, thebomb.com. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Would you say,
Look, I'll tell you this much. This is why I was keen on what's it called on referring to first impressions, right?
Uh-huh.
As far as thoughts dictating your own reality, the like that's why you have to clear things like doubts. You have to just shoot your shots. You have to just go. Just go with the flow with everything. Just say fuck it and just roll with it, right?
Mhm.
That's what I did with meeting you guys. That's kind of how I guess I got the gig with Beacon Fest, right? And the reason I was soaking on like discussing Beacon Fest because today is Saturday, May 17th. Yesterday, guess who performed back home? I think I might have told you this.
So,
Travis Scott, a guy from Houston, Texas, telling me that a guy from Houston, Texas, who, you know, grew up in that kind of economy during that time, he made fucking bangers like Astroworld, and not just even that, Rodeo, Utopia, and it's not that it's an overnight thing, but because of course for someone like me, it influenced me greatly. Things with the same kind of context as far as Virgil Abloh and Kanye West and like that kind of niche of music, if that makes sense. Like that kind of era with obviously other pop influences, not just the hip hop and rap genre, but everyone else. Like what I mean, like as far as pop, maybe rock, etc. But for a guy like him, to I remember that like he issued like the tickets like or like he said that the concert was happening maybe a month before that, like in like the beginning of April,
okay.
that he fucking sold out at like a 45,000 like seat stadium like back home. It's a soccer or a football stadium. Like, do you know what it means to really gather that number of people there through your power, through your music, through your art? For
Especially
someone like me,
just a month of in
dude,
advance.
my brothers went to that shit. Like, dude, on everything. If I was there, if I had the chance to go there right now, I would have raged the fuck out. Like, you wouldn't even understand, dude. Like, and that's the thing. That's just my energy, bro. Like, I'm just calm right now, but I always got that rage in me. I got that fucking fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Maybe I might have had a couple of like. I'm a pretty like I used to have some tantrum episodes like back then, but thing is like I was just expressive like.
But you got past the adversity. I'm proud of you for that.
But look, especially for someone like me, you have to learn, control like a lot of philosophies because I am till now, fucking heavy into martial arts. Like, you realize your true potential with like, your balance of emotions and levels of control. You know what I'm saying? But that's what makes I guess it transverse into music so fascinating because you really get to express your levels of emotionality your levels of calmness, or you can be angry, just rage. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's what's amazing about this.
That's another similarity
And
that
shout out to Travis for wrecking it, and Isaac, back home, but partying there, turning it up. Fuck yeah. I hope I get to do that kind of thing for my people. Eventually.
that'd be awesome. That'd be
Fuck
awesome.
yeah.
And then when you make it big, I'll be like, oh, I remember when the guy was starting out, Sheb Mansour.
Type shit.
There's
Yeah.
That's another similarity that we have, my friend. We both have martial arts backgrounds.
Yeah.
Because I think I told you recently I was at your place. I was like, yeah, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And you were teaching Ennis how to do
Just a rear naked choke. That's
yeah, the perfect way to hold the mark. You know what I mean?
let me just say this to the fans. I've never seen a worse rear naked choke than that.
Oh shit!
It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, too much space. Ennis, we love you, but there was too much space in
Way
that.
too much. I've seen 5-year-olds in jiu-jitsu classes that do it better than him. But I fucking love you, Ennis. You are my boy. I fucking love you.
Ennis, you're the bomb.com.
You were the
Ennis.
goat.
You're bomb.com, Ennis.
Yeah. And since then, I taught you how to do just a good old rear naked choke. So definitely stick with that.
We're proud of you, Ennis. We're proud of you. That's what's beautiful about this campus. You learn so much, you know what I mean, and a little goes a long way. My friend. There's because you were talking about Virgil, you were talking about Kanye, you were talking about who was the third inspiration?
Travis Scott, like there's a how what's it called? I had to kind of mimic, because I was like inspired with him coming back home to perform. Like I just had to go all out with that kind of thing for Bacon Fest, right?
And there's someone that comes to mind that kind of knows all those people, that is a former musician that I think you might have met. Oh, what was his name? I think it. Fuck.
He is quite well known in this industry, and not just with them, but I think every single person with a level of influence or fame or just stardom or any celebrity, pretty much, any sort of context related to media and entertainment.
Yeah.
So,
I think it starts with a D.
the D,
Yeah. Do you remember what his name is? I'm having a brain fart here.
the D, the I, the D, the D, the Y is Diddy.
So, wait, wasn't there like a picture with him before back in the day? Like,
Listen,
how'd that come about?
listen. Do you know that one song, Ultra Light Beam, where Chance the Rapper says, "I met
Yeah,
Kanye
no.
West. I'm never going to fail.
Yes.
I met
On-
Sean Combs
on-
himself. I am never going to fail."
You know what? I'm gonna put the glasses back on. You can show the picture with us having the glasses on, and that will be the thumbnail.
Oh,
That'll be the thumbnail. Bet.
wait. Can we just put the thumbnail like as a JPEG on the thing?
Yeah, but just in case I forget. Just in
Hold on,
case.
I'm gonna mute my phone in case of copyright because the poster had the song on it, but I
Good
don't want to
idea,
fuck up
good
any
idea.
emotion. But check this out. Yes, this is me and
Oh
Mr.
my
Sean Combs
gosh.
himself.
And how old were you say you were when that happened?
So I told y'all the story a number of times, and I think I told y'all the story back in the fall. This was back in 2017. I was 13 at the time. It was, and by the way, I think my family's watching this, but
Hello.
after this after this episode releases, when it comes to family only, because I don't really care about like fans or haters, but these mom, dad, cousins, aunts, uncles,
Raise
please,
the good
please don't give
person.
me shit for it, please. This is just for entertainment purposes. We're just having fun with it, and obviously I will be, for whatever shan't be discussed, won't, because I have respect for my parents and I love my family. But
Great guy.
I will just check because the video is on YouTube, so I'm gonna try find the video. Right?
That you're in?
Yep. I was 13 at the time. Okay, it was my second cousin's wedding, and I know that the only reason. By the way, it's not like I even know her. It's just technically she's my second cousin, right? You know what I'm saying? Like just by as far as the family tree, kind of functions. That's how she would relate to me, and I pretty much snuck into the wedding. Is kind of how it happened.
Wow.
Because Lebanese weddings and specifically Arab weddings, are fucking fun, dude. Right?
Young savage you.
Yeah. Thank fuck I didn't miss on that opportunity because there it wasn't just Diddy alone that turned up. There were a number of celebrities that were there.
Who else
To,
is
to,
there?
to the Arab world that is listening, you know, Haifa Wahbi turned up. Raghab Aleme, who pretty much one of those guys, the second guy that I just mentioned, actually worked with my grandpa when he first, kind of got into the music industry, especially in the Middle East. Because my grandpops used to run a bootleg cassette company.
Really?
Imagine if you could make money ripping YouTube MP3s. That's pretty much what my pops did with cassette tapes, and yeah, pretty much got him through the Civil War. You know, with my mom and my aunts, who I fucking love to death, and my grandma as well. And yeah, I mean, music is in me all along, and just making alone.
Hmm.
It's, I guess, just when it comes to making itself, because one of my other grandpops, God rest his soul, he used to have like this kind of glassworks company where he used to like just like make glass like frames, but I definitely have this kind of knack for it in terms of not just minimalism, but these kinds of designs, right?
Hmm.
Where I don't know, it always just intrigued me in a way. It's as far as architecture, like kind of blending all sorts of worlds together. You know what I'm saying?
Best of both worlds, just like your twin, Rayan
Fuck yeah, dude.
Mansour, said earlier.
Wait,
Best of both worlds.
dude, is this a video? Because yeah, pretty much the story goes because it wasn't even during the wedding, right? That wedding first was a fucking it was amazing, right? Um, Definitely if you can if whoever's watching, you can do your own research. Like you can find some shit online about it, right? If you dig deep. But there was a birthday party that happened after the wedding. It was a year, sorry, later after that wedding that happened.
Okay.
I think it was the same girl. Or no, it was my second cousin's mother, who would actually be the cousin of my mother. So that's kind of how it works. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was her birthday, and then because everyone was just intrigued, like, how the fuck did you get Diddy to come perform? Let's just say that they paid him a nice price. You know what I'm saying? And apparently, it was between him and Busta Rhymes to turn up and perform. Me personally, I would have wanted to see Busta Rhymes, but
Especially nowadays.
yeah, but it was still cool. Diddy turned up. First of all, he gave my second cousin, I mean, the bride gave her a shot of his own Ciroc vodka that he just turned up,
Hmm.
to Lebanon with. He's carrying his own like his own line of vodka. Like I don't know if it's discontinued now, but he used to sell that shit back then.
Yeah.
But excuse me. Yeah, he pretty much turned up, performed all of his classics and whatnot. And the thing is, I'm trying to find this video online because it is there, but with all these like things on the news going on about him, it's kind of fucking up the algorithm. Wait,
That's facts.
I might have found it. Is it? Fuck yeah, this is it.
Oh shit.
Uh, and you can see it right here in the corner is a young me, but
Oh shit.
it's not gonna be.
Oh right. Oh yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's really gonna show, but yeah, you can see all my like my uncles and aunts and cousins and everybody's looking good. You know what I mean for that wedding, and then yeah, pretty much.
That's a fly guy right there.
Yeah, look at this. He just turns up. Just turns up to the fucking wedding.
Oh my gosh.
And dude, I mean, I was 13 at the time, but he was fucking tall, bro. I mean, for my perspective.
Wait. So is that the second cousin?
Yep.
Wow.
The one. He performed all his classics. Every step you take. And there's even one, what's it called? The first song that I knew that I recognized was this one. I think he was featured on with Nas, or is it the other way around? It's the one that goes, if you hate me now, but I won't
Let us stop now.
because I can't stop. That one, you know that one, right?
Yes.
Dude, I remember he performed that. I was bopping my head to that. Oh, that was fun.
The,
That
the,
was
fir-
fun.
the first one that I can remember was I'm a wrestling fan, so it's like I was like, I'm coming home.
Yeah.
Coming home. Tell the world that I'm coming home.
Nah, he's got a lot of classics, dude.
That's facts. That's facts.
The diddler. Yeah,
right.
I mean, my brother took a picture. I don't know if I should mention this, maybe because I'm a bit of a rascal, but just say, I think he traveled with a team, and one assistant, I say this just as a compliment, but she was good looking, she was quite pretty. I will be honest.
What a nice
You know,
guy.
for a 13-year-old boy as myself during that time, you know, me and my brother had a great experience that day. My older brother, shout out Kareem. Yeah, we just knew that the world is our oyster, and these kind of moments, they're ours
For the taking.
for the taking. Yeah, fuck, why am I stirring? But yeah, for the taking. That's what I'm trying to say.
And
You know what I
more to
mean?
come. More to come. It's
Like, you just can't stop,
it's like
right?
I can't stop like the
Hey,
Linwood
shout
anthem.
out the fucking flan, bro.
That's
I can't
right.
stop.
I can't
Shout out
stop.
the fucking flan. I
I
miss my home, dude. But yeah.
see, but the thing is, I'm glad that we made this happen before you visit home for the summer.
Fuck yeah.
And there's a time where I'm like, damn, I miss my boy Shebby. I just look back at this episode, be like, damn, I'm gonna see him in the fall for our birthday month,
Oh,
which
yeah.
we just found this out literally while we were charging the laptop. That my guy's birthday is a week after mine. What a coincidence!
Right?
So when you come back, that month that you come back, we'll be back.
Dude,
Celebrating our
legends are
birthdays.
born in September.
That's
Legends are
right.
born in September.
That is so
Fuck
right,
yeah.
bro. Bro, that is another one of the similarities we have because we got so many similarities. We bring the energy. We bring the
Ooh.
greatness. See, it's not as vibrant, right? It's not as
Yeah,
vibrant.
dude, these fucking blue light glasses are crazy, but
Like we bring the greatness.
they kind of rest in my eyes, but yeah.
We bring the vibes. We bring the energy. We bring the positivity. We bring martial arts. We bring the hype. We bring the dance. We bring the great voices.
Yeah,
we
tell
bring
me.
one
One more.
great
what are you
motivational quotes.
Yeah.
And we're September babies.
Like, shit.
That was a great clap.
Yes, sir.
Great clap. Great clap.
Ugh.
And I must say, I almost had a break for I almost forgot this, but this is a question that I ask all the great guests, my
What's
friend.
up?
Oh, this is what's beautiful. You don't know it's coming. I love
Tell
it.
me.
Makes it even more genuine.
Tell me.
I ask every guest, and I forgot to do it in the big ass group one that we did with UMB, but I asked every guest this. Chevy,
Yes, sir.
what is the meaning of life? Wait, no. I mixed it up. The real question is, what makes life so beautiful?
What makes life so beautiful? Well, find out on the next episode. I'm just joking, because my mom's calling me. My mom, yeah. Doing podcast, chat soon.
Shout out Chevy's mom.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Meaning of life. Look, I think we all have. Maybe I'm not spiritually versed, but each person's reality is different, and I guess it takes some sort of really spiritual sense to kind of figure out what your reality is,
Mhm.
who you are as a person, Thomas Peterson, who I am as Rayan Mansour, right? What kind of life do I live? The reason why I think life is beautiful is because with each soul's existence, it contributes to the functioning of Earth.
Mhm.
That's why I was mentioning, like, I'm not trying to be philosophical and shit or like Plato or blah blah blah, but in a way, without your existence, without your presence, your mind, your creativity, whatever it is, your significant contribution of your soul on this earth, things function so differently. And that's why, when we're talking about themes and elements of perfectionism, the fabric of your very existence alone is perfect. It's what makes the world run, right? And that's why, as a person, you have to, really understand, awaken kind of that voice. For me, the reason why I kind of had like these, doubts or anxieties, when it comes to music, and it's kind of normal where, you just kind of figure out, what works, what makes you, your voice, stand out. The only reason why that kind of even happens is because, I let it. I really started questioning things. I started, wanting more out of my presence on this earth,
Mhm.
what I can deliver to, the world, and that's what makes life beautiful. Because you're here, because you have so much to offer, and you just need to understand how, and time will tell. And I'll say this because during my freshman year, there was a lot, coming from the other side of the world where I wasn't too sure, who was I gonna be? Who was I gonna be, befriend? Who was I gonna be hanging around with? And it takes a lot, to oh shit, excuse me. It takes a lot, to say look at things, with a more, paced, I guess speed, calm things down. Time will tell. And look, for someone like me, uh, you know, uh, from a young age, I couldn't wait, to get this 8-year-old kid to come to the United States, during the freshman year where I guess anxieties built up, stresses, whatever. I kind of had to, dive back into that core, belief. If that 8-year-old version of Ryan was to see me, right, or that 10-year-old, that
It's
always
like what
wanted.
Virgil was saying, doing it for the 8-year-old
Fuck
self.
yeah, dude, everything I do is for the 17-year-old version of myself. Dude, if my younger version was seeing me, like what I am right now, like he would be shocked because this is not what he dreamt of, as far as, being on this earth, doing what he wanted to do, being in the States. So I was like, fuck the outer voices, fuck all the doubts and all that sort of thing. And to all people, who I guess are genuinely barriers, cut them out. And you don't really have to say like, "Oh fuck you," and done. We're not talking.
Just give the space, be like,
Everything rolls smoothly, dude. Yeah, you'll have no idea how much people aren't like. And this isn't to downplay on shit, but people are not attached to you. People are not confined to you as a person. Like they have their own shit, they have their own responsibilities to figure out and deal with. You know what I mean? Things work out by itself, right? And for me, it's not that I'm a nice guy or whatever, or like, oh, I'm so nice, or however fuckers use that kind of label. But I am patient. I am very relaxed, and I ease at one with myself. That's why for someone like me who's and I don't even mean for the conversation to jump in so many ways, but kind of figure
okay.
like see how these things kind of fit together. Where the thing is, I'm at such ease, with myself and with others that I don't like. There's just so much that I can't be a dick or an asshole about anything. Okay, that's just weird to use those two specific parts, dick and asshole. But I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be a schmuck to like just make things not happen. I'll give you an example where specifically when it comes to DJs, you'd I'm sorry, but you actually have to be an asshole if you were like DJing at like a house party or something to not take requests. Because there's a bunch of my homies where shout out to y'all, y'all started doing that and you guys make it play good. But there's a bunch of others where, excuse me, fuck you if you actually don't take requests and you don't give the party to the people. You know what I mean? Because I remember it was prom for me, right? I won a kickboxing fight. I was graduating and prom. But unfortunately, you can't have everything in life. You can't really DJ as well there because it's just how it is. But I was an insane fucking DJ since I started, right? So it's not to say that I was bad, but you know, it is what it is. But I remember there was one dude that just pretty much wasn't tapped in. You know what I mean? Like they just were not hip. He was just playing literally what like we sent like as far as songs beforehand, and he just played those, and there just wasn't motion. There wasn't sauce. There wasn't like any creativity, and I don't know like. Fuck if dude, who knows who's even gonna be watching this video? But let this be a lesson, right? For someone like me, just take things easy. Don't be this obnoxious dickhead who doesn't take requests. Like just have fun with the party, and give the people what they want. It's about them. That's what Beacon Fest was all about, right? And that's what I have to like. I guess give. I guess as advice. You know what I'm saying? There was so much that we chatted about, and I guess there's. Was there one more thing that I wanted to I guess give you as a story, but as far as there was just about like the whole fucking DJing thing. I'm trying to remember. Is there anything else I was supposed to say or what?
I was about to ask you the same thing, that if there was anything else that the sensational Shebby, magnificent Mansour would like to add. I can't think of anything except one. I'm gonna give like a code word for
Yeah.
it, just in case you want to mention it, my friend.
Well, I think we know what's the call we're talking about, but the only reason why I was
So
like,
it's like
Shabu. No, but truth be told, the only reason I was mentioning is all this stuff is because, like, someone like me, right? Okay, technically, I'm me, and not just me. Celebrities who you could like people fucking worship aren't supposed to be at the level that they are today. Had they not, done the things that they did, and I think we were talking about like thoughts and stuff, and acting on thoughts and thoughts becoming a reality. Had they not, just simply acted on things, where the fuck would we be today? I'm not trying to use this word to like the word fuck as like I swear so much, but I'm just using it as in like such a passionate thing. So excuse me for that, but I'm just using it as like as a passionate thing.
You put in the emphasis.
Yeah,
on it.
I do. Truth be told, I don't even cuss that much. I'll be honest, but I was just using it right now because
He's telling the truth.
dude, where would we be right now had people not done great things that they did? Because for me personally, I'm not even supposed to be, dude. I swear I'm not even supposed to be here right now. This Lebanese guy who, I guess, survived, wars, being a byproduct of a generation of parents, and I'll add on to this as well, right? I think this is probably going to be like my closing statement or whatever.
Okay.
Being a child as a byproduct of parents, who escaped war and conflict, and possibly me as well. I'm not even supposed to be here physically, talking right now, because it isn't something for as much as you like. I guess hip hop culture, it is highly significant for its gangster life and that sort of thing. It definitely isn't something I'd say as far as war and conflict. It isn't something cool to brag about. It's pretty traumatic, and I as far as my experiences, they don't even compare to people who have lost not just families but legs and like limbs and eyes for this kind of thing, because it's pretty fucking scary. Like I remember, and that's why I was kind of mentioning between 2012 and 16, right? I was this kid who was into basketball, into culture, into so many things, right? Video games, just something like all things that a kid would do, right? It was also during that time where there was quite, not to get political, but unrest, conflict in the area. And I remember it was a Christmas, it was sometime around Christmas, right? And I was at my grandma's house.
What year again?
2013, 2013, and I remember, it was 2013 New Year's Eve. I was pretty much just at my grandma's house. It was like a morning, nice weather. I just had my jammies on, good breakfast, whatever. All of a sudden, you just hear, like you would think, glass broke. You would think like a plate shattered or like something just went off, or like someone just playing like a movie really loud. You just hear, poof, the loudest fucking explosion I've ever heard in my life, and it wasn't even that close proximity wise, but you can just hear it. They didn't just turn on the news.
It sounded closer than it was, type thing.
Dude, it was a car bomb. Someone planted some sort of C4 under a car. It might have been like a Toyota or something, but dude, as far as collateral damage, it was. I was like, dude, like what? Like it's something that you see on TV, and I mean, I was just shocked, right? And the reason why that I'm even mentioning this is someone from Lebanon. Look, for the people that specifically grew up in the Gulf, which is like Dubai or like the United Arab Emirates, Saudi, Qatar, like that kind of thing. The majority of the population, right, is this generation between kids that are born in the 2000s up to 2010, right, of mainly Levantine parents, coming from Syria, Jordan, etc. Lebanon, I guess Palestine as well, wherever, where they kind of had to escape like those conflicts, and they wanted to start a new so-called perfect life, for specifically for their kids, and that's why there's always a high emphasis on doing good as a student, having a family, getting money, this and that, and obviously doing ventures that pay well, be it medicine, engineering, because for some place like the States, doing all these creative ventures, that was like the perfect opportunity here, and it makes sense like why it kind of came to play. But it was something so unorthodox and new to the other side of the world where it doesn't even exist. But seeing as now that there's the realities that do exist, and you see people having these successes, right? It kind of makes you wonder, oh, that you could do that as well. So long story short, when it comes to like that kind of, I guess, diaspora, that generation, Yes, for sure, all these professional ventures are important 100%, right? One thing that for me, I always loved because my father was like kind of works it till this day, banking and sales specifically. Sales is probably one of the best things ever. And I kind of integrate it with everything, be it music, DJing, all that stuff, right?
Good getting your word across
Dude,
type thing.
sales is how life works. Communication, learning about one another, getting to really tap into their psychology. And it's not like
That's what my
for,
major is at BSU.
really, dude.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, you'd be surprised. Like, yes, I talk or whatever, but it's not just to talk for the sake of speaking, but like, you really want to get to know people more,
Because
right?
everyone has their
You
own
really want to
message.
make motion with things. That's just how the world works, and that's why for like as my last remark, my last message for parents now in this generation or getting kids that are going to be like maybe 20 years younger than me, newborns. For parents like mine, they never had any barrier on mine. They just knew money, money, money. Boom, that's it. Just do things that are gonna make legacies, that are gonna make contributions. That's all it is. Doesn't matter what it is. Obviously, do it good, do it ethically, do it legally. Just do it right and make a contribution, and you'll make it right. Definitely do not confine yourself, especially as a kid. Don't think that school is just the end of the world. Don't think that you're only confined to kind of like one kind of niche. Explore yourself, tap into what you're interested in, what fascinates you, what really engages your interest and that sort of thing. I found what mine was. It just like at the right place at the right time, and I'm rolling with that shit. And I'm hoping that these kind of words of these affirmations and inspiring words, really move someone else to really do something like that. And I hope that maybe I get to work with one of y'all, maybe one of your kids in the future who are be it into art or music or that sort of thing. And hopefully we will all do great things and make the world a better place. Definitely get heads turning up, making worlds join into one. Michael Jackson said, "We are the world." Sorry to sidetrack, but that was actually I think my first performance ever. "We are the world," Michael Jackson.
We
Or
are the world.
it was I think the Haiti earthquake version,
Oh,
the
the 2010
2020
one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember we did that one. Fuck, good times, dude.
There was a time
When you hear the say.
when the
Ugh.
world
You see what I'm saying?
must
Like all these things kind of play together. And look, for by the way, let me just say this: you will never, to the viewers watching, you will never, I mean, never ever find someone as neutral as me, right? Like, I'm not even trying to get political, not just because it's the end of the fucking podcast, but I don't hold grudges or barriers for nobody, right? I'm at peace with what my beliefs are. I, for someone like me as a Lebanese, a byproduct of civil war, I don't even believe in like divide, right? I'm all about unity. Like whatever the way of your expressiveness is, we just blend it together. That's how yin and yang works, right? These complete polar opposites of black and white, they're not good or bad. Putting them together, you have something completely new. That's why, especially me coming to America here, like get to meet all people from all parts of of the world, right? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
A lot of diversity.
dude, big time. Asians. I guess especially shout out my Caribbean people. Much love. I fucking love y'all. Africans, right? Especially a lot of religions here. Shout out my Jewish people. Y'all are fucking legends as well, right? Like I've even met here, Israelis and Palestinians like that, dude. Especially in a context of university where the reason why that we're here for education, right, you know what I mean? Like we're all here to really make something of ourselves. We can't hold barriers back with one another, right?
That's
And
true.
that's why for someone that me and the other side of the world, I lived in that kind of bubble. Not that I was restricted to any sort of knowledge or whatever, but it you things kind of play out in a way for the best of us, for the better of us. But eventually you kind of come to your conclusions, to your reasonings of why why you do things that you do, what you want to learn, what you want to know, what you want to do as well. And everything plays out, and you would be surprised how much maybe just something as simple as traveling or meeting on the other side of the world can really change things like that overnight, make things work out in such a way that it just changes your entire mindset and makes you really at peace with yourself.
That's true.
So I hope that these words move someone and make it changes the world for the better, starting tomorrow or starting now.
I love that. And one of my closing remarks is I just wanted to say, before I say anything else, is I'm glad that you're here, my friend, because that thing you said just now,
Tommy, you're the fucking dog, dude. I love you.
thank you. I love you too, my friend, because you mentioned the thing about how sadly there's people who, lost limbs and sadly aren't here in general. It's like when you said that there was a chance that you possibly couldn't have been here. I can't imagine a life like that because you mentioned it about how like the fact that it's really great that we're here in general. It's kind of like using like a time machine where it's like you change one little thing, your existence and stuff. You change one little thing, you move a chair in a different way, things are
Butterfly
different.
effect.
The fact that you're here, we talked about this on our intermission. We have great support systems. We're both well-known individuals with
Yeah.
great hearts. And I mentioned all the similarities earlier, but the fact that we're making this legendary moment happen, thank you so much for wanting to be on the pod.
Dude,
I appreciate you.
legendary episode. And I've watched a bunch of the other ones and I have yet to like kind of complete them and stuff. But as far as the conversations and the way they take and just kind of really hearing other people's stories, I'm just glad that I'm on here, dude. Thank you so much.
Anytime, sir. Anytime.
Thank you
And
so much.
what's amazing is people are going to be driving down, listening to it on their radio, and be like,
Hopefully, yes, they do.
"This guy's spitting. Chevy's spitting, bro. He's spitting."
Ugh.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in.
Thank you for everyone listening. And is there anything else that the
Would I
great man
be
like
able
to
to
say?
plug my socials? Y'all can follow me on Instagram at Sheb Mansour. That's at SHEBMANSOUR. Check me out.
That's right.
The whole what's it called? Works coming. Definitely in terms of musical palette, I don't hold any barriers to a particular sound. Everything just kind of plays out as far as inspiration and everything cohesively just works together. Definitely making my way up to the top because I am in control of my own reality, and hopefully you can be as well and make a difference for yourself. And just because someone like me is doing it and others try, that does not make it oversaturated. That just makes us one of nones. You know what I mean? Like we are all unique individuals. All of us here on this earth, we are not an oversaturated population of 7 to 8 billion people. To have that kind of population growth, we all have a duty to make greatness, small or big.
Well said, my friend.
And slowly goes up from here. Watch this.
That's the thing. I'm gonna leave it off on this. When he becomes big, people are gonna look back on this with his first interview, and I'm honored to be the first interview for someone who I know has
Thank
a
you.
bright future ahead.
Catch you all soon. The Peterson Podium podcast isn't going anywhere. It's sticking around. Sticking around, dude.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, it is. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you for listening, and also enjoy life.
Yeah.
Bye.